You jinxed it.
Good evening. We'll call to order the regular city council meeting Monday, October 9th, 7 p.m. Roll call.
Toby Nelson.
Michelle Addo.
Kirby Moyna.
Sam Solars.
David Paradise.
Jessica Bonniwell.
Mary Teachin, City Attorney.
Jared Vogie. Dan Reamer.
There will not be an invocation tonight, so we'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. So please stand. I think it's hiding over there.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, city council vacancy. So we had 4 applicants, Mr. Roy Henry, Mr. Toby Nelson, Mr. Roger Frauman, and Mr. Aaron Niska. We interviewed them last Monday, and Toby Nelson was selected as the candidate to fill the vacant council seat. And now we'll do his oath of office. Please raise your right hand and read the piece of paper.
I, Toby Nelson, do solemnly swear that I support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially discharge the duties of the office of council member of the City of Montrose, Minnesota, to the best of my judgment and ability, so help me God. Thanks, buddy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Approval of the agenda.
Mayor and council, we need to remove item 10B6 to accept the resignation for Mr. Michael Sommerfeld. And we're going to remove under 11 old business approval for hiring a city clerk.
Okay. With those changes, do we have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the amended agenda.
I will second.
Further discussion? I'll vote aye. Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Hopefully I don't say 4. Approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Further discussion? Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Motion passes 5-0. ISD 877, Superintendent.
Thank you, Mayor Moyna and council members, for giving me the opportunity to address the City Council. In front of you, you have a flyer that is a synopsis of building bond that we are proposing for the school district, Buffalo Hanover Montrose School District. Within that, I just would like to take just a few minutes to provide an overview of what we're asking for, a few more details than what you have seen in our insider publication, and then answer any questions that the City Council may have. So I'll start with the first item, probably of importance and significance, is the Safe Schools or school safety proposal. We're looking at providing an entrance at the middle school and the high school that are more secure. If you remember in the 2014 bond, we were trying to make the Hanover, Tatanka, and Discovery Elementaries more secure. They are similar now to Montrose Elementary and Northwinds Elementary, as well as Parkside Elementary. After the Parkland tragedy in Florida, the state of Minnesota gave school districts an opportunity to apply for grant money, one-time grant money, to make our buildings more secure. At that time, we put in a application for over $5 million worth of improvements, and it was primarily the high school and the middle school, so that we could put on an entry at those two buildings. We also put in applications for all the other buildings. We got $50,000 out of our $5 million ask. What we're doing here, what we're proposing to do, is to put in a separate entry under the existing awnings or of like the high school. There are classrooms above it, but it's a covered walkway or awning before you get into the building, and we would be able to put our school resource officer out there. That's where his office or her office would be, along with our receptionist. We have a greeter or receptionist, and they're inside the building. And we'd like to push that out to the outside, the exterior of the building. And then we'd like to do the same at the middle school. There's an awning, a big covered area as you go into the middle school. We'd like to push that out and put offices in there. And we would have the SRO, and we have Buffalo PD for the high school, and then we have Wright County Sheriff's Office at the middle school for the school resource officer. So we'd like that office there, along with the receptionist and greeter. So those are the two big improvements. We'd also like to provide the ability to lock our doors, our exterior doors, with electricity, so we would be able to have them on timed with software, and they can be automatically opened or automatically closed. We currently don't have that. All of our custodians have to go down. We have a few of those, like at our main entries, but other than that, we don't have that ability. The other big investment that we're looking at is improving indoor air quality, and then also making an investment into changing over our steam heat to hot water heat. And we're looking at, like, the high school for indoor air quality and dehumidification or air conditioning. We have big rooftop units in all of our facilities. The high school is probably, well, I know it has the largest rooftop unit. And we're looking at being able to take care of that whole south side of the building, where the Performing Arts Center is, the cafeteria, and then we have a gym and the activity center. What we're finding in all of our buildings that are not dehumidified or air conditioned is that it's drawing from all the other places that are air conditioned. If you have ever gone into a building where the doors are blowing open a little bit, or they're really pulled tight hard, and it takes all your effort to open them, the building is out of balance. And so that's what we're finding in our facilities, that they're drawing and overworking existing equipment. At the high school, we'd like to put in a chilled water plant, much more efficient. We have one at Parkside, and we have one at Northwinds Elementary. So we'd like to, in this bond, do that at the high school and be able to dehumidify that whole south side of the building. At the middle school, again, we have those gym areas that are pulling from the other parts of the building. We'd like to dehumidify those. Then here at Montrose, we want to dehumidify the cafeteria and the kitchen. Those are the last two remaining spots at Montrose. The same is true at Discovery. It's the kitchen, the cafeteria, and the gymnasium. And then at Hanover, again, it's the cafeteria and the kitchen. And so those are the buildings and what we propose to do under the dehumidification. We have some buildings that need to be converted over to hot water systems. We were able to just do one of those this summer. And our buildings and grounds director, we have a new buildings and grounds director with the district, Mr. Tim Helpe. He was telling me that we had a 6-inch gas line going into Tatanka to feed the old steam boiler, and it has to run on diesel fuel or number 2 fuel. When they ask us to cut over because it's too cold. And I was even told that they burned coal and wood. But we had a 6-inch gas line going into that building. He said it was replaced with an 1.5 inch gas line. So that's going to reduce our costs on the energy side. And then we have inline hot water heaters or boilers, and they come on as it gets colder. So it's much more efficient. So we're told by our engineers that we can make these investments and still lower our energy costs. But we wouldn't be able to do it because one investment, we don't have the funds to do it unless we go out for a bond. I'd like to talk about the roof replacements. I guess those are pretty self-explanatory. Then we have a line item in there for auditorium improvements. The high school was built in 1997. If you've been in there, it looks wonderful. It really is well maintained. We pride ourselves on maintaining the buildings and the structure of them. But we haven't touched the seats since 1997. And if you sit in those seats and you lean back and it has a little give, that's not what it's supposed to do because they're starting to crack on the base. And so we'd like to make that investment there along with the sound, the lighting, and the curtains, the shells and risers that the kids perform in. Right now, our middle school performs there also. That wasn't the case in the past. So I think we looked at that. 2 out of every 3 days, that facility is being used. So it's a great use of taxpayer dollars. The kids are using it. Also, the community theater uses it and the community orchestra, so they're performing in there also. So that's a basic update there. School renovations. We have temporary walls, and you can see some of that in there. They're not... They weren't built, they were built in the 60s and 70s when we had this open concept where you could move a wall. I grew up, we had accordion walls where they would just open up these spaces. They're not best for a learning environment because they're hollow. We have demountable walls, they call them. They're a wall, but they get connected to the ceiling with a strap. And we'd like to make those permanent, and we were able to do some improvements here at Montrose this summer, but there's still demountable walls in Montrose. The middle school has by far the most demountable walls. We still have them at Hanover and at Discovery. So we want to take care of those demountable walls and renovations. We'd also make some investments in our library areas and the media centers. And then playground surfaces. All of our elementaries have a playground. We have wood chips in those playgrounds as a base. We'd like to have a unitary surface for those playgrounds. So that means it's a smooth surface. It has some padding in it. And you build down, you put in a foundation, and that gives us more access, ADA accessibility, Americans with Disabilities Act, not only for parents, but for kids, and they can be with their peers. So we're working at all the elementaries would be able to have that improvement. And then I'm looking down my list here real quick, technology. We had a $4 million portion of our 2014 bond. That is running off. This is the last year of that bond. And we, at that time, asked for $4 million. It was $400,000 that we used over 10 years. We'd like to renew that. We're looking at $5 billion this time around because of inflation. We were able to double our amount, the allocation to the buildings, but then the infrastructure. the servers, the wireless access points, the fiber, making sure that we have access in our buildings. And so that's that line there. So what we're looking at is $41.5 million, and it wouldn't be an increase on taxes above the current rates. So if somebody didn't vote for it, that's fine. They would get, and if it doesn't pass, somebody would get on a $220,000 home would get $6.67 a month that they would gain from that. If it was a $330,000 home, it would be about $10.67, so a little over $120 that they would receive back. So we're just asking for our community to take a look at our requests, reinvest in our facilities. We pride ourselves, like I said, these buildings have been around for decades. On the outside of my building, I'm at Discovery, the old high school. There's a keystone outside that says 1936, and that building is well maintained. We want to continue that investment. We do, in the last bond, we did a lot of tuck pointing and things that you wouldn't really look at, but just maintaining the outside so that the inside stays strong for many, many years. So I'll stop there and see if you all have any questions regarding our request.
I'm assuming with the new security protocols you're putting in place, that's so that in case there is some sort of a situation, you can lock it all down at the same time?
Correct.
What's the current protocol for that?
Well, we're fortunate that this would just enhance that as a part of that line item. So we would reinvest in cameras, some of our intercom systems. But currently, right now, we have a video intercom on the outside of the building, and you have to, in order to gain access to the building, you have to push the button and somebody will let you in. Within a lockdown, every one of our classrooms can call a lockdown independently. There's a protocol or procedure on how to do that. They hit the lockdown button or the alarm on their phones, and that sends a signal, and all of our magnetically held open doors release at the same time. The outside doors lock down. Our air exchange closes because we have schools next to railroad tracks, and we don't want, if that could be an emergency also. And so it cuts off all of those pieces. We have blue lights that are by the entries and throughout the building in the high school, like at the cafeteria and the hallways, for our deaf, hard of hearing students so that they can know, and even in a loud, if you're in the gym, you don't see it, you can see the blue lights going off. And when that alarm is, that 911 or lockdown is triggered, there's an automatic recording that comes over the intercom system that is repeated 3 different times from the principal of that building. So I think I'm getting to what you're asking right now, but we want to, all of that is maintained through our servers, and those don't last as long as you might think they do. But our fiber running out here, Montrose has had a couple of times where the fiber was hit, and we had to contact the provider, and they don't move as fast as we want them to. And we've called M&P, and they've come in and helped us, but we try to build redundancy so that if one line is cut, we have the other line, because we are dependent on technology for our phone systems and our communications. Other questions you might have? That was a great question. I appreciate it.
So you had said that what's currently dropping off now with this bond,
Yep.
This is just directly replacing that, and there's not going to be a change in tax rate at all?
No, this would not, it would not change the tax rate beyond the current rate right now. So if it didn't pass, then the rate would change. But based on what our current rate is, I've never had this opportunity in my entire career where we had debt falling off and we had an opportunity to ask our community to reinvest into these items that we've identified. But the list was probably $70 million But we work with Ellers, which is our public financial advisor, and they help us structure debt and take a look at that. And they are saying that we can make this amount of improvement without changing the current rate.
After this, when is the next bonding going to drop off of the school debt?
It should be 9 years from now. And so the Ellers structures that debt because we had like the 97 bond, the 2003 bond. We had a bond in 2010, one in 2012, and then the bond that we went out in 2014. So they take all that debt and they structure it so that we don't have the peaks and valleys. They try to keep it as constant as possible. So in 9 years from now, 2032, I believe, is the next time, and that debt will have a drop off of the 2014. Any other questions? Again, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be here. Appreciate it. We're going around to all the cities, and we have public information opportunities also. We already had the first one in Buffalo. Tomorrow night we'll be at Hanover Elementary at 7 p.m. and it's open to anybody within Buffalo Hanover Montrose School District. And then on Thursday we'll be over at Montrose Elementary at 7 p.m. So if you think of something in between or tell your friends, come on and come on out and listen to the presentation. It'll be more robust. I'll have a PowerPoint presentation and everything like that. So thanks again for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Wright County Sheriff's Office.
With the key. Stepped out. Yeah. He stepped out.
Kevin, is there anything that you can think of that?
Nothing that I can think of that's really been pressing around here for the most part.
City Council.
I attended Park and Rec City Council meetings, the vacancy, Montrose Days, Fall Festival.
Council, the special council meeting, I did a League of Minnesota Cities webinar on the PFAs last week. And that's it.
Special counsel was in on the interviewing for the city clerk position.
Council, City Council, Fire Department, Fall Festival.
Fire Department.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. In your packet is the activity report for September. It's a busy month for us with 37 calls. Total for the year, we're at 268. In comparison, last year we were at 240 at the same time, so it's been a busy year for us. Some special recognition that I just want to make that's listed on the activity report. The first one is to Mike Marketon. He served as the local fire warden for the past 35 years, and he was recognized for that from the Minnesota DNR, and he continues to serve as that position to this very day. And then everybody and all the places of business that supported us during our 9/11 Remembrance event, specifically Old Brothers and everyone who stopped by and visited with the firefighters while we were out there. So it's always great to see the community members stopping out and remembering that day. Any questions on the activity report? Next item is to authorize purchase of 5 Motorola pagers. They're about $500 each. We'd be ordering them through ANCOM. Pagers are what we use to get our notifications for calls. Our supply is dwindling just because they're getting old, broken. We're having more problems with them currently, so we're going to try and replace about 5 each year, trying to spread them out rather than having to buy 30 of them all at once. So just looking for authorization to purchase those.
I'll make a motion to authorize the purchase of 5 Motorola pagers for the fire department.
Second. Further discussion? I'll vote aye. Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is to authorize the purchase of a new roof ventilation saw. It's going to be a steel saw. We purchased it through M&M Express. The approximate price is $1,700. Whenever you're talking firefighter equipment, the price jumps. So I don't control the prices, but whenever you get a saw that's specifically made for cutting roofs or stuff like that, the price goes up. Our current saw that this one's going to be replacing is from probably about 2000. We're not going to totally get rid of that. We're going to use that as a junk saw for trees down, branches down, things like that. Otherwise, what we have to do, if we're transitioning the saws over for something like that, we have to put different chains on them, different guards on them, things like that. So this will allow us to get more use out of that other chainsaw as well, and having a more effective chainsaw for cutting holes in roofs if we have to. So I'd be looking for authorization to purchase that. It is in the budget.
I'll make a motion to authorize the purchase of a new roof chainsaw.
I will second.
Further discussion? I'll vote aye. Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
The next thing really isn't of a surprise to anybody, but our building is coming close to being 30 years old, so there's going to be maintenance costs associated with the age of the building as time goes on here now, probably in the foreseeable future. This item is currently budgeted for. I have a pretty healthy budget in the station upgrades and repairs line item. This one is to replace two 2.5-inch fill valves and then also repair, check, and clean our station bay heating units. Some of the vents have started to come off just throughout the years and stuff, and they just kind of need to be re-put into place and have everything checked off all at once. We would have this done through B&D Plumbing and Heating, which has done work for the city in the past. They do good work. They're a reliable company out of St. Michael. Their estimated cost was $3,995 for those two things.
I'll make a motion to approve the replacement of the 2.5-inch fill valves and repair, check, clean, station bay heating units.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Mr. Solars?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Motion passes 5-0.
Next item, I just want to take a couple minutes and go over some Fire Prevention Week stuff. So Fire Prevention Week is this week, October 8th through the 14th. This year's theme, which is created every year by the National Fire Protection Agency, is Cooking Safety Starts With You, Pay Attention to Fire Prevention. Just some reminders that go along with general fire prevention stuff. Check your smoke alarms monthly. Replace your batteries every 6 months. We recommend that you change your batteries when you change your clocks during daylight savings time, as long as that's around. In the event of a fire or an emergency at your house, get out and stay out. Have a family meeting place outside away from your home. Call 911 from safety when you exit your house. Have an escape plan and practice your plan with your family. Most residential fires start in the kitchen. Be safe when you're in the kitchen. Never leave the stove or oven unattended. If you have a grease fire in your kitchen, don't put it out with water. That can make things much worse. Make sure that the handles of your pots and pans are pointed towards the back of your stove so that nobody accidentally bumps them, causing a grease fire or somebody to get burned or hurt or your kitchen to start on fire. As we've done in the past, for the past probably about 35 years, we will be again having guests to our station this Friday. We'll have the students from 2 of the grades at the elementary school walking down. During this time, we talk to them about some fire safety and fire prevention stuff. And then during the recess periods, we go down there with a couple of trucks and let the kids climb around them, answer questions, give them some goodies and stuff like that. So we look forward to that every year. It's always fun to interact with the kids. They have some very interesting questions and stories that they always share, but it is always a great time. So we're looking forward to that. So just remember, Fire Prevention Week's this week. If you want more information, feel free to reach out to us or go to the NFPA's website, and they have tons of information on there as well. That's all I got then.
Emergency management?
Hi. Just an update on the security and safety project, which was authorized earlier this year. That was all funded out of the ARPA money that was received through the government and stuff. So far, all of the cameras have been installed. All the doors that were getting replaced have been replaced. The door fob key system is in, and we're working on the intricacies with that and getting comfortable with that. The next step that's up and is also the last phase is rekeying all the hard locks. So this will be a master key system. We're getting away from issuing out keys to everybody. Instead, people would be issuing out fobs unless there's a necessity for you to have a key. So staff will have keys, and that's pretty much where it's going to end. And rather than having to carry around 30 or 40 keys like some of the guys have to just to get to different places, we're hoping to limit that to 2 or 3 keys by the time we're all done. Through this project, we've realized that there's been some additions that need to be had and some changes that take place. Some of it we've been able to just kind of get done without any issues or anything. But I am requesting an additional $10,000 out of the ARPA funds again, just for some finalization stuff. Something as simple as getting a hardwired screen TV to 3 or 4 desks in City Hall, just because the camera system is now internet-based, and when there's multiple users on it, it becomes useless. So if we hardwire it into the recording box, then they can see it and be knowing what's happening in real time to them. Just little costs like that. We're going to have to get some more padlocks, do a couple more door rekeys and stuff like that. So the goal of this project is to have it completely done so that we don't have to revisit this again in a year or 2 when we realize, oh, we forgot about that one door, and then it creates a whole nother hassle. So I'm just requesting an additional $10,000 that should bring us to substantial, if not final, completion of this entire project.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve up to $10,000 in security upgrades from the ARPA funds.
I'll second.
Further discussion?
And I'll just say too, so this whole project's been kind of done through Russell Security in Buffalo. They've been absolutely great to work with, very flexible. We've been very flexible with them too, as far as timelines go and things, but they've been more than accommodating, dealing with problems that we're encountering. The contact is always open. Christy, I think, probably has one of the guys on speed dial at this point. So does Jess. They've just been great to work with, a great company. This is a relatively small project for them, but you couldn't tell by the way that their customer service is. They're really top notch in their industry here. So,
Any further discussion? I'll vote aye. Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. EDA.
Yes, we met on the 19th. One of the big things we talked about was the child care, First Children's Finance. There will be an informational meeting on October 30th. So it did go out in the newsletter to the town as well. Just looking for some people interested on being a part of this, so we can look into more and what the needs are for the town as far as more childcare, what we can do, what the First Children's Finance can help out with that and that piece. And then the last one was just the commercial project discussion with Steve Bunn. He's got wants to bring his business into town, but feel like there's more questions and he needs to figure out first before we can really move forward with that project with him.
Any questions for EDA?
Do you want to circle back to Wright County?
Yeah. Do you have anything that you'd like to add, Mr. Deputy?
So for the month of September, the big thing, we added a vagabond, let's say, to the city of Montrose for a while. Generated probably at least 20 calls for service for us and a couple for the fire department as well. So not necessarily a terrible person, just, causes, can't stay below the surface, I guess. So, but in the past 10 days or so, he hasn't generated any calls, but he's still around. So that will be an ongoing thing we're going to keep an eye on. So again, not a terrible person, just kind of generates calls. So I'm not sure whenever he's going to move on or not. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but we're going to keep an eye on that. The other thing I had was, I don't know how many people experienced the power outage last weekend or the weekend before. I can't remember exactly whenever we got that rain. The stoplights at 12 and 12 right here went out completely. This has happened at least 2 times before. I don't know if anyone brought it up to you after the fact, but I think it's a state problem, Minnesota DOT. So I just, as a safety concern, because we have to park there, lights and everything, and it's a very hard intersection to direct during that time. So I don't know if it's something you could bring up with state, making sure that has a proper batteries or something for to turn on when the power goes out, because it's like I think I stood out there three or four times in the past. So I believe that's the main thing. It's October. I think we only had one juvenile complaint involving pumpkins or something like that so far, but I expect more.
It's early.
Yeah, wait for November.
You did it again.
Yep. You just jinxed yourself.
More likely than not. Any questions or comments?
The vagabond, as you said, is that the same individual that was kind of in the area for the summer, more in the Waverly area? But
No, that is a different person.
okay,
That guy, I'm not sure. So he likes to have a low profile, which is great. So he doesn't like to pop his head out, cause any major issues for the most part, other than kind of getting seen wandering through some yard or whatever. I honestly, he's so low profile, I don't know when he's in town or when he's not. So that guy has been in town and seen recently, but I don't know I couldn't tell you if he's here or not, one day to the next kind of thing. So he goes out west more on occasion, sometimes east. I couldn't say for sure. So he keeps a low profile, that's good enough for me, kind of thing for him, for that one. So, but hopefully this other one is on. Anything else?
thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
City engineer.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. The first item in your packet this evening is related to a funding program that the Minnesota Department of Transportation recently released. It's called the Local Road Improvement Program funding. Staff has reviewed the program. Applications are due December 8th, 2023. The maximum award amount is $1.5 million, and there is not a specific local match required. In addition, any improvements submitted for this program need to be completed between 2024 and 2026. So as staff reviewed the program and the city's CIP, we did identify Clementa Avenue between Trunk Highway 12 and County Road 109 as a potential candidate project. Ultimately, what MnDOT is looking for in these applications are regionally significant projects. The connection between Trunk Highway 12 and a county road definitely qualifies for regional significance. However, there is a piece, as council is well aware, approximately 4,000 feet of Clementa exists outside of the city limits within the township. So as a result, Jessica and I attended a township meeting to gauge the township's support or thoughts towards the project. Township indicated to us that they would support the project if they did, and made us well aware that they would not contribute financially to the project. So That is the message that we left with from them, very loud and clear. So following that, we did review the project against the local road improvement program criteria. Without that connection to the county road, certainly we could submit an application for that, but ultimately that significantly impacts the project's regional significance. So we've identified a few options for council to consider. The overall project and the portions of the project are also enclosed in my memo this evening, outlining the contemplated project improvements. But the three options, if you will, are to submit the portion that's within the city limits for funding, or submit the entire project, recognizing that the township has indicated they will not participate in any of the costs associated with it, or skip the funding application altogether. So ultimately, staff has wanted to bring this to council's attention and inform you of the conversations had with the township, where we feel the best opportunity for funding is, and have a discussion surrounding council's desires for the local road improvement program.
Does the township wish to give that road to the city?
I think at the meeting, I don't know if we ever specifically asked that question, but I don't think they were opposed to it, no. I believe a comment was made something about when the development went in, it should have been a city road at that time, so.
Because most of the traffic on it is from people outside the city, and
That's what they indicated to us.
so if we were to do this, would that make that Clementa all would be a city street? Or are we just looking at the option of we would pave it all, part of it or half of it, whatever it works out to be, a third of it, I guess, probably, would be in township, and then they would just get a free road from us if we didn't get that part of the road?
I think at that point, then we would probably need to enter into agreement with the township and spell out those specific terms, for sure.
Yeah, it didn't sound like they had equipment or interest to maintain a road that was paved.
Right.
So kind of the opposite of us, obviously.
Yeah, and you can't maintain a road
That's dirt, yeah, or gravel.
I don't know what everybody else would be thinking in this, but if we had an agreement like that in place that said if we get this money to pay for the paving of the road, then we would take it over, but if we don't, we're not going to.
Yeah.
I could see the benefit to having it all paved, because there's been a plan for a future potential school out there for the last 25 years or so, give or take.
Yeah, one item to note, so curb and gutter is not contemplated in the township portion, just so the council is aware. It's more grade the gravel that's there, pave it, it wouldn't look like a city street, I guess, just so that council is well aware of that.
It'd look like one of the older city streets that doesn't have the curb and gutter.
Correct.
What kind of an impact would that put on Public Works for plowing and maintaining?
Obviously, it's gonna add some cost to our budget, right? For maintenance and salting and plowing, but we're always adding roads. And the straight roads are our favorite roads.
Would it make it easier out there so you don't have to stop, plow off the road, turn around?
Yes, I mean, it probably would, but now you're going all the way to 107, so now you're dealing with traffic too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but, yeah. I know a lot of people in those developments out there have stopped me and us Public Works guys, and they want to see that thing tarred all the way through.
Yep. Are you guys able to handle taking on another 4,000 feet of road?
Yeah, if you give us more money in the budget.
We have a brand-new plow truck, too.
Yeah. I mean, when you adopt roads or make new roads, you just gotta add it to the budget, you know?
Does that also add to staffing?
No,
Okay.
I mean, I don't think so, not that little bit of a road.
Dang it. Question slipped my head. It's gone. Where'd she go? What would you want to see, Danny? Would you want that section added, or do you, like, are you
I
gonna say,
think- I
okay,
think it
right
would be-
now, but behind closed doors, you'll say?
No, I think it'd be smart for the city to go for the funding and see what happens, and then go from there. Right?
About how much would that section of road cost with what you're talking about, Jared?
The current estimated cost is $618,300.
I just wanted it read.
Now, if you don't get the funding, then you can revisit this and say, okay, we're just gonna tar what's in the city limits.
Like I said, I would want that section of the road becoming a city road to be contingent on whether or not we get the funding to pave it, because I believe they've brought this up before, and not directly to us, but they tried to go through the county commissioner to get us to take over that road. And the more direct approach of them coming to us and asking about it would have probably been a little better at the time, but.
Well, the problem is we can't take over a gravel road. We don't have the equipment to plow gravel. So, unless you wanna buy a road grader, we'll figure it out.
Not for
But-
4,000 feet.
I think that's smart, Mr. Mayor, to go for the funding and have a contingent on whether you get the funding. If you revisit it when you're done and see if you get approved.
I say we go for the funding. I know there are a lot of people in Forest Creek and Whitetail that would love to see that eventually paved.
Would you know?
I'm just saying. You know, during the winter, it gets a little rough to drive on. And with, you know, expansion coming sometime to that area also, with some more homes going up, I think we can get the whole thing paved.
I mean, I barely use it, because I don't live on that end of town, but I do know how bad it does get over there. Actually, Waze never takes me that way because it doesn't exist. I don't know why, but it does get nasty over there. Is there any harm in going for it compared to not going for it? I mean, if we don't get it,
Don't get it, we don't get it, I guess.
I just wouldn't want to get the money, pave it, and then the township says, well, thanks for the road, you can't have it now.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see some kind of agreement.
Yeah, it would have to be an agreement. It did not sound like they would be interested in maintaining a paved road.
So when is their next meeting? When was their last one, I guess? Yeah.
We went in August, I thought.
I'm understanding you said they can't maintain a paved road, but we can't maintain an unpaved road, so.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see the meeting date on there.
How do they plow the road? I mean, the plow is a plow, right?
They've got a road grader that they,
Yeah,
Yeah, but what do they do in the winter?
the road grader.
that's what they use as the road grader.
Really?
So it smooths it out at the same time as,
Oh, yeah, it's real smooth.
Pushes part of the road in there
it gets smoother in the wintertime.
when it's frozen.
Once the ice fills in
Once
all
the ice fills in all the holes?
all the
that's
ruts, yeah, it's real smooth.
So what action would you like taken on that then, Jessica?
Jared?
Jared?
Well, I know, but I didn't know if
Yeah.
you would want a motion, or if we just give him direction, or,
So if council is comfortable with it, what I'm hearing is consensus that we move forward with the application. At the next meeting, your November meeting, we'll bring a resolution authorizing the application. In the interim, we'll begin drafting letters of support for consideration by a variety of entities, including the township. I believe we already have received a couple of letters of support in anticipation of the application, so we'll certainly garner more and move that process along so that we're prepared to submit that application by the 8th of December. So,
Works for me.
Great. The second item in your packet this evening is related to the 2023 Street Improvements Project. It's pay application number 1. As I'm sure council is aware, the contractor's been working in that area. The paving is scheduled, latest schedule that I received was scheduled for Wednesday of this week. The pay estimate is in the amount of $156,365.15. And that's to GMH Asphalt Corporation, and we do recommend approval of the pay estimate as presented. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Are they anticipating getting everything done before we have frost issues? Because it's starting to get colder at night now, so I want to make sure that there's no issues with setting or anything like that.
Yeah, the specifications require certain temperatures when they lay the mat down. So those will be monitored as part of the process. I don't anticipate any issues with that. I mean, paving will take a few days, but they should have that pretty well wrapped up this week and next, so the project should be buttoned up. With the exception of some cleanup items, of course, where they removed curb and gutter. There'll be some topsoil that'll need to be replaced and some seating put down, but nonetheless, I don't anticipate any issues.
I'll make a motion to approve pay application number 1 for the 2023 street improvement project. Total of $156,365.15.
I will second.
Further discussion? I'll vote aye. Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Anything else, Jared?
That's all I had this evening, unless council has questions of me.
Park and Rec. Thanks, Jared.
Good evening, council and mayor. Slight transition from normal Parks and Rec with the poaching of Toby.
Do I hear bitterness?
No, just congratulations. For meetings of last minutes, we finished up the Parks and Trail Plan. All commission info is in. Bolton and Mink information is in. So now we're just in the typing phase of just compiling all that information together into one solid document. We reviewed bench locations. Dan has requested concrete for 6 locations for benches.
They approved it.
And approved. Community gardens, they're coming to a close. So Christy has drafted a letter for those community members that have plots out there for a reminder to make sure to clean your debris. And Dan will be making sure, doing the final walkthrough to make sure the final stamp of approval from Public Works. We have upcoming events, our Halloween decoration contest. We'll be planning on probably traveling kind of out separate members. I think we have Eddie and myself planned for the evening of the 26th to go out into the community, take pictures of houses, and then their pretty standard Halloween decoration procedure, followed by review and vote on our next Park and Rec meeting in November 7th. We're also continuing on commission member advertisements, getting that notice out in the community. So if anyone has any recommendations, we have some posts on Facebook or the city website. Anyone who's interested in the Parks and Rec Commission, feel free to apply. And we did a recap of Fall Festival, so a special thank you to Christy, all the amazing work she did, Public Works for all the help, vendors, commission members for donating their time, and of course the community for coming out and enjoying the day. So, we also have, I guess we're seeking a request kind of to approve our temporarily 3-person commission to continue for probably another 6 months until we get another couple of applicants and can make some votes and new additions to the team. So I guess that would be my request in the meantime for now. Again, with the Fall Festival, we're having coordinating through Christie, of course, kind of a joint meeting to set up kind of future bylaws and other events that, city can begin planning, or Park Commission can begin planning for future events. That is pretty much the Parks and Rec minutes. Yeah. Any questions, comments, concerns?
So motion to allow the temporary use of 3 members.
Yep, that's fine. And they requested 6 months, so if you guys agree.
Okay, I'll make a motion to allow the use of 3 Park and Rec members for up to 6 months, or until those positions are filled.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Do you anticipate the finishing of the Parks and Trails to take 6 months, or?
No. That would be, it's just kind of the drafting process. There's the compiling of all the changes from the historic ones, from kind of the parks perspective to the new census data. So that's just kind of the last that's the last bit.
Any other discussion? I'll vote aye. Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Should we think about when we're going to have a joint meeting with them?
That was my next question, is when you would like that to take place. So you looking for like November or December?
We just got word that a November date won't work, or that specific November date won't work. So
Which?
November or December, I am open.
We were gonna maybe do it before a council meeting,
Oh, before the council meeting.
but it won't work.
What about the council workshop, the 4th Monday?
In November,
Is that Thanksgiving?
I won't be here, but you could certainly have a meeting.
Christie's saying no.
Mondays don't work.
Oh.
So people have to be.
That's right.
When is your next meeting?
November 7th.
I'll already be there.
I'll already be there.
I'm trying to think. That's not election day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It is.
It
Yeah,
is.
we had that discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would be there. You checking your calendar?
Yep. I'm free.
I'm undetermined right now where I will be. Day 1, so.
So you said you are?
Yeah, I'm available.
Without looking at my calendar, I think I'm fine. But we have at least 3 people, but I should be able to do that as well, to just do it. If you guys are okay with that, doing it for the first half an hour of your November meeting, or if you think that's too soon, we could look at December.
I mean, at least starts the discussion, so half hour, we will graciously accept a half hour of your time on the next meeting.
So that meeting's at 6.
Yeah.
November 7th, 6 PM.
Yes.
Okay.
Then come vote right afterwards. Okay, that's all right? We can't do it here. It's elections.
Elections.
We can squish.
Yeah, we would be squishing in here as well.
Maybe it's a good thing that all five aren't there. Couple.
It's true.
There's a utility closet.
We can squish into some.
We'll be fine. We've done it before there, so.
We'll be fine.
Okay, on November 7th it is then.
Sounds good.
So then we have a couple of resignations to accept, unless there's any other questions for Josh. Okay, I'll make a motion to accept Kimberly Niska's resignation from Park and Rec.
I'll second.
Further discussion? I'll vote aye. Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Okay, I'll make a motion to accept Toby Nelson's resignation from Park and Rec.
Second.
Further discussion? I'll vote aye. Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Toby's abstaining. Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0-1.
I was pretty sure I couldn't make that motion.
I wasn't going to give you the choice. Do we need to approve the chair and vice chair, or this,
Yep. Yes, please.
anybody else?
I will make a motion to approve the appointment of the new chair, Mr. Joshua Swenson.
And vice chair.
Well, you want to do both?
Can we do both on one?
Can we?
Did you want
Mary
me
says
to?
yes.
Just they're separate.
Yeah, that's separate. That's why I did it separate.
Mary was shaking her head.
She said yes.
I know.
Fine. I will second.
Further discussion? I'll vote aye. Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Mr. Solars?
Aye.
I will make a motion to,
Motion passes 5-0.
I'll make a motion to accept the appointment of Vice Chair, Mr. Edward Kalasa.
I'll second.
Further discussion? I'll vote aye. Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Nelson?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, and congrats, Josh.
Yes, thanks.
Also, thank you for the Fall Festival. It was a great job.
Yep, absolutely. Nicely done.
Public Works?
Mayor and council, I don't really have a whole lot tonight, other than, I didn't get time to include it in the packet, but I gave you a handout when I got here. Your speed sign that you guys wanted and purchased is out and running. After a little bit of learning how to get the information off of it and I actually had to take a 45-minute online class for this. But
45 minutes well spent, Danny.
Yeah, it's actually pretty nice. I mean, if you guys look at the breakdown, and there's other things it can do. You could buy way fancier ones too, also that you could actually put wording on. But if you look in the handout I gave you, it was out on Whitetail Lane from 9:13 to 9:27, 2-week span. On the first page there was 2,477 cars went by, and less than 0.5% were speeding. That was one of the first complaints we had, one of the reasons why we put it out there. And then it got moved to our next complaint, and the next page kind of breaks it down. You guys by day, like it gives you a total vehicle count, number of violations, average speed, max speed, min speed. I'm sure it's kids trying to go by on their bike, trying to hit 10 miles an hour, but. And then the next one, it's currently out on Breckenridge. We like to leave it in the spot for 2 weeks, so it was from 9:27 till today. You've had more traffic out there, 2639 and 5% are speeding out there. Something that we can start sharing with Wright County. They can hit these things up and maybe start sitting there.
So the people who drive on Breckenridge tend to drive faster than the people who drive on Whitetail.
Correct.
Usually in a red car, probably.
So, I mean, I'm still working out a few things on it, like diving deep into the hourly, I can get those charts that I can share with Wright County and like tell them when to sit there, so, if you have any questions on that, feel free to ask, but I think it was a great purchase by you guys. It was a great idea.
How regularly do you plan on using the radar sign?
Well, we'll leave it out. We'll move it in spots 2 weeks at a time. But probably November, we'll probably yank it out and store it for the winter.
Yeah.
It is solar powered, so these long nights are kind of a killer for the battery and the thing, so. And then we'll put it back out next spring and put it in the complaint areas. This program that, I just want to give you a heads up, this program is all Bluetooth and cloud-based, so the first year is free, and you have to pay a subscription after that.
Of course.
Just to give you that heads up. So I can access thing live right now, I mean, if I wanted to, just with my access codes. I have the codes, and then Public Works staff up here have the codes for it. You can add like 50 of these things to this one subscription if you'd like, but
Just check it about.
one is working good right now. So, that's all I have.
Awesome.
Anything else for Danny?
Oh, thanks for this, though. It's great work.
Thanks.
Thanks, Danny.
Thanks.
No old business, new business, fence permit and inspection changes discussion.
Mayor and council, Mr. Reamer and I have been discussing this. There's been some issues lately with fences, boundary lines, just kind of dealing with that piece of it. Right now, Dan is going out and doing inspections. We don't actually check the property lines themselves. The residents are supposed to have those marked so that he can see where the fence is getting placed in relation to that. We're still having issues with this. A solution would be to have Metro West complete these inspections. The permit fee would be $75, so we'd have to increase that a little bit. But I think, they would require some different things, to have either a survey or have those property pins totally marked, pulled up, marked. But yeah, we continue to have issues with property lines and residents, so I feel like it would be better for us and better legally and stuff if we push that to the building inspector, because
Yeah.
he does that, or they do that for other cities
Metro
as
West
well.
does it for Buffalo. I believe they do it for Howard Lake. I don't know about Waverly, but, I mean, they're already doing most of your building code inspections. Why not just throw them on the fence, inspections? It is currently $25 for it. It would have to jump to $75 for the city to cover the cost of what Metro West charges. So you would have to change that come January as far as, city fees schedule. But we'll probably continue it out till the end of the year. I don't see too many fences being pulled anymore, but, permits. But come January, just, put this guy in your head, you guys, that you'll probably have to triple that fee just for the city to cover the cost that we pay Metro West.
I think that it's a good idea to have somebody come out and actually survey it. How many parts of town still have the property lines marked?
No, don't get me wrong, they will not survey it. It will still be on the homeowners to survey this.
So they're just gonna check to make sure the fence is.
They will do follow-ups, though, see?
Yeah,
I
and
go
if
out,
they are unsure of the property lines or the person can't find their pins, I think they will have to have a survey done.
right, and then they will deny them.
Then the fee goes up at that point?
I don't know, we'll have to
I don't think the
discuss
fee
that.
goes up as far as us. I mean, the expense on the residents' part would go up to have a survey and all that kind of stuff done,
So they're just
if they
checking
can't
the
find their
fence.
pins, yeah.
I thought they were gonna do both.
No,
The fence and
no,
make
no,
sure
no.
it's not on the property line.
It's hard to find people that will check property lines. It has to be like a surveyor usually.
And there, we might have to come with some changes to that permit. We might have to tweak it to what they feel they're comfortable with. They like our permit right now, but he's suggesting just some changes, a couple little changes to it.
I still think it's a good idea to have an actual inspector come out and check it, so.
I agree.
Okay. Nothing else on that then. You're just gonna bring that to us next
Yeah, we'll probably bring it either next meeting or
January?
January to change the fee schedule and everything all at the same time.
Okay. I don't have any open forum requests, so upcoming meetings. Planning and zoning on October 11th, 7 PM, Community Center. EDA, October 17th, 12 PM, City Hall. City Council workshop / EDA meeting on Monday, October 30th at 5 PM, Community Center. That is where we will do the child care informational meeting as well. And the group that we would like to get involved with does require 15 to 20 active members to even consider coming in. So I believe we handed out flyers at the, or there were flyers available at the Fall Festival. So if you're free, please come up there. Park and Rec, we'll have a joint meeting with City Council on Tuesday, November 7th, 6 PM, Montrose City Hall. And the next regular City Council meeting is November 13th, 7 PM here at the Community Center. Acknowledgements, recognitions, or announcements?
I want to acknowledge Christy for the Fall Festival. She did an amazing job getting things all set up, working, from the time we got there till the very end. And she just did a really amazing job. So I want to thank her for that, as well as Josh and Kim, Kayla, Toby, Public Works for coming out and helping us out that morning. Very much appreciated. It was a good event. A lot of hard work went into it, so thank you guys.
I just want to give a reminder for Fire Prevention Week this week. Please rewind the tape and listen to Kevin's portion if you want to hear more about that. The judging for the Halloween decorating contest is on October 26th, so have your lights on. And this Thursday, October 12th at 7 PM at the Montrose Elementary, there will be a bond referendum meeting for ISD 877. So if you have questions, please show up for that. Anything else?
Were these guys here for something?
We were, but it's okay. We'll just fill out the proper paperwork and we'll complete it.
I'm sorry, what were you?
The reason why we were here in regards to LGI's,
You guys could come up to the microphone.
the reason why we showed up tonight was we were under the assumption that LGI was going to be also here tonight in regards to their addition over on the, I think it's the third meadow addition, basically off of Aspen
Off of
Lane.
Aspen.
Yeah. So there's just been some concerns and some questions, I guess, that we have in regards to as far as the easement and what, their intentions are as far as tree replacement for noise reduction in that area now. Unfortunately, he's had a lot more, and along with the other neighbor that we had here tonight, with water flooding their garages.
Well, not the garages, but we had 2 feet in front of my mailbox. And then I had siding getting my house sided at that time. So all my new siding was underwater and full of silt. And I don't know what I'm gonna be charged for replacing that.
I'm sorry that they're not here. I'm not sure when we're talking about the LGI stuff exactly, because they haven't brought anything back to us. So,
Everything's been approved.
it's already kind of been approved, and I don't think they're starting anything anytime soon, or at least right now, but.
Well, they're starting.
Oh, yeah, they've been going for weeks.
Yeah, they're starting.
Oh, it already is started? I thought.
They're tree removal and some groundwork, yeah.
Oh, it's a muddy mess over there.
I believe it, we had the
My
4 inches
house
of
is
rain.
right at the end. And
I would say my yard's the most affected yard with the easement that's going to be replaced and stuff like that. I've probably had at least 50 trees taken out of my yard.
Could you both state your name and address for the record?
Yeah, it's Sarah Shum. My address is 846 Aspen Lane.
And you, sir?
John Fleechek, 705 Aspen Lane.
Thank you.
I also too, when they were doing their packing, it's the vibrating packer, and my whole house just shook. And I actually had stuff falling off the wall. Later that day, I'm looking out the window and I got a pile of little dust over on the windowsill. Well, I had a crack right above in my drywall. I got cracks in my ceiling, both levels. I called, what is it, Fern? Fane. That's doing the dirt work out there. And right away he told me, he says, well, I'll let them know to shut that vibrator off when they're packing. They shouldn't do that close to your house. I said, well, a little too late. I says, they're already done on my end. They're on the other end. But they were out there most of the day. And, yeah, right on the property line. I mean, they're packing away. And like I say, my whole house, you could just see stuff move. And now I got all these cracks. So I got a guy coming out, checking the foundation, see if anything there was damaged. So, yeah.
I guess it's just some concerns in regards to the privacy, the noise that we're hearing now from the other side of the street. As far as erosion of dirt, if we can't even control the water that's coming in now, what's going to happen with these, 50, 60 houses? I don't know how many houses are planning on going in, but I just fear that that's going to be too much to sustain everything in that one spot, and that our 3 houses are going to be affected the most and dirt washing away. So if there was any way to put up some type of self-fencing or more dirt, more of a firm kind of deal, I don't know. It was just something that I thought we could discuss with LGI and with you guys tonight, so.
Did LGI say they were going to be here? Did LGI say they were going to attend this meeting?
Somebody told me that this is the meeting to be at, that LGI would be here. I was told. Dan was there. I don't remember who gave me the note. Somebody wrote down at the
No,
city
we
office.
told you to, if you had a complaint, come to council meeting and complain. I never said LGI would be here.
Well, they told me the date, the 9th, when I was there.
Well, if LGI told you that, I don't know.
No, when I talked to you and.
That you could come to a meeting and discuss with council.
Yeah, it was me and Jess.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Wrote the note?
I wrote you some information about the meeting date, just if you wanted to come and talk to council. I did not say LGI was going to be there. Are they?
Well, when I voiced my concerns, that's when I was told to come to this meeting.
So you could discuss with council. Jared, are they supposed to have silt fencing and stuff in place already, I would assume?
Yeah, the developer's required to comply with the MPCA construction stormwater permit. We did reach out to the contractor on Friday, and they indicated they were going to be taking care of that. I think.
So that's Latour?
Yes.
Well, they finally today came out with the, what do you call the tubes?
BioRoll.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So they finally got that out there. But, you know, with that 2 feet of water that we got and all the silt, I mean, it was a mess. And I made a call to the city. Another neighbor made a call to the city about it. Never heard anything. So, you know, comes time to mow your lawn. It took a lot to clean my yard out. And then finally, the tree guys came out and they picked up a bunch of stuff. We had logs that big out in the middle of the street, 2 houses down. So that tells you how much force we had and what kind of a mess we had. But then they finally brought the street sweeper out there and did a little cleanup. And now where the pavement ends, which is at the pretty much end of my driveway, I mean, me and the other neighbor, you know, you're living with your garbage cans at the end of your driveway, especially now because there's nowhere to turn around. And I've had my driveway cracked from having big trucks come through. Using my driveway, I'm on the end. That mess we had with that rain, it'd be nice if what is left back there from those barriers, the rolls, if they could clean that up. Because what used to be kind of rock is now all silt and mud. So anybody that does go through there, then they track it down the street. I'm always cleaning out my garage because I come in and out, I track it in. And I always try to keep that street clean. So.
Can we get them to clean that up, Jared?
Yeah, we'll have another conversation with them in the morning.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for your guys' time. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
no problem. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
If there's no other acknowledgements or recognitions, announcements, stuff, we'll just ask everybody to please leave. We're going to go into closed session here in the next couple minutes.
Make a motion now? Yeah. Make a motion to close.
Mayor will need a motion.
And then just use the
Yeah,
the A, the
I was
wording
just
for
going to
A.
wait. But.
Yeah, well, we're still in public. It'll close once you go into closed session.
Okay, I'll make a motion to close the regular city council meeting and go into closed session.
You need to state what's actually on the agenda, just for the record, to close the meeting. Thank you.
For a closed session with city council for the sale of property pursuant to Minnesota State Statute 13D.05, subdivision 3C, related to the sale of real property contained in the plat of the Preserve of Montrose.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.